This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin. Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol. Live. The show where you know I'm not high enough for this shit. I'm Justin Freakin, and it's a freaking Monday, and I forgot my video, and I was trying to make a new one. Complete with like animations and the troll head winking at you and shit. But I couldn't export it in time. So you get the same old like basic bitch fucking background video I've had up. There we go. I'm going to rearrange at some point in time this week. Make this look a little more tidy. What is up, Merkin? RB. Weed. Don't mind if I do. You gotta fix some stuff up in here where the light is behind me so it illuminates the room. Make it look a lot cooler. Gonna get the TV a little adjusted. We're working on shit. But still, this is just temporary digs. I applied for a job in Alpharetta, Georgia today that I think like I stand a good chance at getting. I was looking at it like I could live in Alpharetta. For those of you who don't know, it's a suburb north of Atlanta is Alpharetta. So like I can live like in a cheaper area north of that suburb. Possibly not get the sky high Atlanta rent prices. Warlord, we're gonna talk about some UK politics tonight. Warlord got me on the conservative debate to see who will be the next prime minister. They're down to the top two. The top two. We're going to see the key moments. Apparently it's gotten a little heated, and according to Good Morning Britain, I don't know how reliable they are. Boris Johnson has already checked out. He don't even care about being prime minister anymore. A Democrat running for Senate in Wisconsin has quit the race. I don't know exactly what that means, but we'll find out when we read the story here in a little bit. Bad day to be flying in the United States. In Dallas, a woman apparently fired some shots inside an airport. Police took her down. When I first saw the story, I thought it was another day in mass shooting USA, but I think there's more to it than that. In Miami, planes collided. I don't think they were in the air, though. I don't think they were in the air. Unfortunately, we're going to cover a story that is incredibly dark. The Pope was in Canada today, and I'm hoping the piece that I picked out to watch goes really in depth into why the Pope is in Canada today, apologizing for I didn't see any of the news articles use the word, but I would classify it as a genocide. Pretty sure it is a genocide that the Pope is apologizing for. But here is your meme of the day. The first time a drug dealer flexed the Gucci belt in a photo. Those of you listening to the audio, the picture shows Ronald Reagan in his Gucci belt. And it wasn't until I was sitting here during the countdown that I noticed somebody photoshopped Trump's head into the dude over Reagan's shoulder over here. Like, is this Venus and Serena Williams, or is this just me being racist because it's two young black girls with tennis rackets in their hands? Like, as I understand it, Venus and Serena were bred to be like the best tennis players ever. That's a weird way to put it. Bred to be the best tennis players ever. They were like the Jackson family, you know. that they were borderline abused into being the greatest tennis players of all time. Is that real? I'm digging myself a hole here. And I believe Cosby is in the background. I believe Cosby is on the other side of Reagan. Which, hey, maybe Trump and Cosby were present, but both of those pictures of Cosby and Trump look to be, recent, as opposed from back in the 80s. Trump didn't look like that in the 80s. We're going to talk about Trump tonight. Not very much. He's not very important. Are they too young for this picture? I thought they were slightly older than me, which would put them like right at the age to where, 1981, no. Are they younger than me? Venus is 42. I'm 37. So that's why it could be. I am an old man. But then again, I wasn't even born in 81, and she's only 5 years older than me. So I think she would be a hell of a lot younger than that picture. So yes, I believe not the Williams sisters in the picture with Ronald Reagan, unless they got the date wrong. Maybe it's 87 instead of 81, and then it could be right. Speaking of minors, dozens of them were found working in a Hyundai. I don't even know. A Hyundai plant in Alabama. A former teacher said that he earns more working at Walmart, which I find absurd, since I'm going to give you a story of Walmart workers suing for unfair labor practices. The Fed is facing new pressure as the economy cools down, but Biden says we are not going to go into a recession. Biden is feeling better after testing positive for COVID. We are still on Biden dies of COVID watch.
Biden dies of COVID watch.
Biden's buddy, Senator Joe Manchin, also positive for COVID-19, and now we are on
Manchin dies of COVID watch.
I don't know, something I fucked it up and cut it off before the end there. It's supposed to fly at you like the other one. But also, I've done too many of these now. I don't even think I have Trump up here anymore, but when he tests positive again, I'll put Trump back up here. Oh, I do have Trump.
Trump dies of COVID watch.
Have too much fun. And for those of you who were watching the show last night, I asked if a graphic was appropriate. Everybody has asked for the graphic. Ask and you shall receive.
I was on crack.
Right.
Oh, because he was on crack. We have a lot of fun around here while we do the news. Watch. I did. My housemate was asleep when I was making the Manchin one, so I didn't want to record. I'd already recorded a voiceover earlier in the day while she's in here asleep after working a night shift. And I didn't even know at the time that she was also going to have to work night shift tonight. I thought today was her day off. I pop out and I'm like, hey, breakfast bug. And she's like, I have to work. I feel so sorry for her. I'm not high enough for this shit. Relatable, Sparkle says. Apparently, I'm getting fired from my own show. I'm interested to know how you're going to replace me on a show when I own all of the intellectual property having to do with the show. This is going to be interesting. For those of you who don't know, Marcelo and Marzano, who are the comedy duo, they were on Showtime. Sparkle's really into them, right? I think they used to be on Vice before they were on Showtime. I think she and I could be better than them if she wouldn't fight. Like, she will do everything she can not to participate in a story. If like the Jordan Peterson thing the other day. That Jordan Peterson video was funny. But she did everything she could to stop me from playing that video. And that tension that doesn't make for entertainment. You gotta go with it. Gotta go with it, Sparkles. I understand you didn't want to watch a Jordan Peterson video. I wanted you to make fun of Jordan Peterson. You had some banger fucking lines. Once I actually got you talking about it, you had some good lines. It was a great fucking segment. I clipped it. It's on the YouTube. You guys can go watch it on the YouTube. A message from Jordan Peterson. Oh, fuck. But now, I'm fucking their names up. It's DeSeuss and Mero. Which, for the longest time, I thought she was saying Seuss and Mero.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Apparently, Justin gets canceled. The Friday Night Freak Show is breaking up. Sparkles is going to be replacing Justin Freakin with the kid Mero. And I'm interested to see, because they broke up completely. They aren't friends no more, apparently. They did like an appearance at like a Mets game, I think it was, and they were completely separate, never interacted with each other. Apparently, it's a major split between the two of them. So I find it interesting which side you're taking. She's on the Mero side. I want us to be the Deuce and Mero. Apparently she wants to try to pull like a Journey or a Van Halen, and she wants to replace somebody. I'm not into that. Oh, but we got news to do. This is the news show. Let's talk about the news. Starting off tonight. Bad day to be a airline traveler in the United States.
Today, this morning, at about
I guess that's up to Sparkles. I guess it's canceled. She's gonna be doing a show with Mero now. And it seems that she thinks she's gonna be calling it the Friday Night Freak Show, and they're gonna have like the same music and everything. Where are you gonna get Reg's voice to redo the opening for you? By the way, welcome, Drake. Glad to see you. Have I missed anybody? Some of you are lurkers, and you don't ever say anything, and I can't say hi to you if you're just lurking. Oh, it's going to be a whole new show. It's not going to be the Friday Night Freak Show. Well, I would assume so, because, like, I'll just go find somebody else to do a freak show with. Not like Sparkles was the first one. Porg, welcome! The original was Molly Mayhem. We originally had a Molly Mayhem. Molly Mayhem also hates me now, so... Earlier today in Dallas, Texas, a woman was shot by police after she apparently fired a gun inside of the airport. This is Dallas's Love Field Airport.
today, this morning, at about 10:59, a 37-year-old woman gets dropped off, goes inside near the ticket counters in front of Southwest, goes at one point into a restroom, exits the restroom. Now she's either put some sort of hoodie on or some other different type of clothing than she had when she walked in. At some point, simultaneously, one of our officers is in the area. She produces a handgun and begins firing. At this point, we don't know where exactly the individual was aiming. For the most of what we're seeing now, she was aiming at the ceiling. But there was several rounds that are found.
Well, then why'd you kill her?
Simultaneously, as she's doing that, our officer engages the suspect, strikes her in the lower extremities. She's taken into custody and is currently at Parkland Hospital.
Oh, I thought she died.
Other individuals were injured in this event, other than the suspect, who again is at Parkland.
Oh.
All we have right now.
Okay, well.
To ensure that our community knows that this is not an active situation.
That is the best outcome possible.
There are no other passengers, family members, or people in the airport that have been that are victims, and that's what we get at this time.
Why does this dude look like Pitbull? Why is Pitbull always haunting me? I thought she passed away, but apparently she is in custody and receiving medical attention. Shot in her lower extremity. Delta planes collide near a gate at Miami Airport. You know, Borg, I don't mind if I do. Somebody hit the rips. Bang rips in the Twitch chat. Also, we have another cat missing in the house. This time it's not one of mine. Smokey, where are you at? He has finally left my side. He has not left me since he's been back in the house. And for once, he's like, he's not here. He's not here. I can't get you Smokey right now. Smokey! Missed him, but goddamn, he's been annoying today. He's been really annoying, not wanting to let me get work done. 2 Delta Airlines planes collided near a gate at the Miami International Airport on Sunday, resulting in hours-long delays. Yeah, moving is hard on cats. That is very true, especially when you're moving to a house where you have other cats. I don't think he was traumatized. No. You guys don't know Smokey that well. Smokey is a wild man. I think Smokey wants to still go back outside. Smokey, every time, you know, you switch locations with Smokey, and that's why, like, I had a harness for him. I take him on leash places. Like, he would just, like, you open the door to the cat carrier, and he just pops out, and he's like, hey, cool, I'm here now. What's up? I run the place. Meow. Like, he's just wild like that. So I don't, Smokey. I assure you, he's not missing again. He is in the house. He's been here all day. He's been in my fucking lap all day. Been up in my business. Been up in my business. Delta Flight 1654 was leaving Miami for Atlanta when it made low-speed contact with Delta Flight 2911, which was en route to Boston, an airline spokesperson said. Oh, do we have an actual local news hit on this? Let's do that. Delta plane bound for Atlanta collides.
Were delayed for hours after it collided with another plane.
It's a 30-second hit
in Florida. Take a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, where the Delta flight was supposed to be in more than 4 hours ago, but only left Miami in the last 30 minutes. Miami's airport says the Delta flight from Miami to Boston was pushing back from its gate when it clipped the plane that was bound for Atlanta. The airport says.
Yeah, I was hoping for damage. Yeah, we got some updates coming out of Georgia. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I didn't want to go too into Trump tonight. I don't think we will. You got a pretty Trump-free night tonight. I think he gets mentioned
But
in
again,
passing.
we do begin with a potential milestone moment on the road to reconciliation, one that many
I need to go ahead and hit the content warning for real on this one, because this story is just, it is heart-wrenching. The Pope was in Canada today to apologize. What they're calling the forced assimilation of indigenous children at residential schools. They found mass graves. There was rape. When they say forced assimilation, they're talking about the rape of indigenous children in order to produce whiter offspring to fuck the native out of them. Seriously, this is what went on. And these residential schools were in operation for over a fucking century. And they keep finding mass graves. A lot of them were ran by Catholics. So the Pope was in Canada today to apologize.
Indigenous people have waited for almost all their lives. Pope Francis, on First Nations territory, has delivered an historic apology meant to right a wrong of the past and atone for the immense harm and trauma done by residential schools run by the Catholic Church over the course of more than a century.
I am sorry. I ask forgiveness in particular for the ways in which many members of the Church and of religious communities cooperated, not least through their indifference, in projects of cultural destruction and forced assimilation.
Genocide.
Governments of that time, which culminated in the system of residential schools.
Now, Francis made his highly anticipated address to a crowd of hundreds at a powwow ground in central Alberta. His apology comes at a time of national reckoning and on the first full day of what he calls a pilgrimage of penance to Canada. It follows an apology he made at the Vatican earlier this year. But will it go far enough to make amends to residential school survivors?
Fuck no!
Each on their own personal and emotional journey of healing. The CBC's Renee Filipponi is in Maskwacis, the scene of the landmark apology.
Fuck the Pope.
Renee, take us through what happened there and what more the Pope had to say.
Well, the crowds have already cleared out very quickly because there are a lot of logistics that went into pulling off this event here today in Maskwacis. Everyone needs to go to park and rides and get on buses to get back to where they came from. So they're already taking the chairs down. But it has been a long and an emotionally hard day for many, a challenge to hear some of the words from the Pope. But, you know, there were a lot of interesting surprises here as well today. When the Pope arrived...
I mean, like, I'm being cynical about the whole thing, and I'm shitting on it, but if his words bring comfort to some of the people who have suffered these horrors, then fucking great. That's awesome, and it's long overdue.
Here at the Arbor, he arrived being pushed in a wheelchair. No one expected that. We were told he would arrive in the Pope Mobile. And then he got up on stage. He gave his apology. He spoke about, this time maybe taking it a little bit further than he did in Rome, about the many Christians who did wrong and the impact that had on the indigenous communities and the impact it has for generations. And, you know, at the end there was that moment when he was Grand Chief Willie Littlechild went up to him. He stood up the Pope and a headdress was put on him. A lot of people are talking about, you know, how that was really a big moment, a big surprise. But again, people are still listening to the words he had to say. It was a long address. There was a lot in there. And people really need to sort of digest what that means. And
they put a headdress on the Pope's fragile little peanut head.
Listen to a little bit more of what the Pope had to say.
I did not see her when I stepped outside for the minute that I could.
Incompatible with the gospel of Jesus Christ. It is painful to think of how the firm soil of values, language, and culture that made up the authentic identity of your peoples was eroded, and that you have continued to pay the price of this. In the face of this deplorable evil, the Church kneels before God and implores His forgiveness for the sins of her children. I myself wish to reaffirm this with shame and unambiguously. I humbly beg forgiveness for the evil committed by so many Christians against the indigenous peoples.
Decimated.
And you know, Renee, of course, you know, the event there ended just about an hour ago. People are still digesting what was heard. But based on your conversations with those who were there today, how do you think the Pope's words will be received by Indigenous people?
And as someone who is a American, a U.S. citizen, and I'm appalled at the lack of coverage on this side. This was a historic day. This was a historic moment. That's why I wanted to get a in-depth piece that really summarized what happened today.
Well, just like there was a broad spectrum of expectations when people arrived here, there is a broad spectrum of reaction following that speech from the Pope. You know, for survivors who are still Catholic, you know, it meant a lot for him to say sorry on their land here in Canada. That was very meaningful. For others, you know, they really, when I spoke with them, it was really like they were still trying to digest exactly what they heard. You know, for many people, this is sort of re-traumatizing. It's a very difficult day to hear this, opening a lot of wounds. Have a listen to one Métis survivor I spoke with who's from Saskatchewan.
It was very emotional. I don't know, like, do we celebrate? I'm just not quite sure. You know, I have to digest all this. But it was very, very powerful to have him, you know, the leader of the Catholic organization, ask us for an apology and to forgive him. It was absolutely beautiful. And I don't know,
Now, we did hear from a number of people who were here about the things that they didn't hear that they wanted to hear. The Pope referring specifically to the doctrine of discovery, which was that
Cicero, welcome.
Hundreds
Curious,
of years ago,
sir.
the justified colonization, that didn't come up specifically. So people will be waiting as the days go through this journey if he does speak to that. And also when it comes to things like the word justice we heard in that speech, what does that actually mean? And people wanting records. So these are the first words we're hearing from the Pope on this pilgrimage of penance. It's going to be action going forward that people are going to
Hey, thank you very much. Cancel the fucking Pope. Cancel the Pope. In all seriousness here, you know, we've had a lot of fun with the cancel Justin. But hashtag cancel the fucking Pope.
When we hear from him again here in Edmonton, in Quebec City, and then last in Iqaluit.
Thanks for this, Renee. That is the CBC's Renee Filipponi in Maskwacis, Alberta. So for reaction, I spoke with Tiffany Preach. She is a member of the Blood Tribe, an assistant professor at the University of Lethbridge, and a residential school researcher. I asked her what she thought of the Pope's words.
As I listened to the Pope's apology today, there seemed to be some more sincerity there, but what I was hearing was a lot of placing the blame on Christianity. So I didn't really hear specifically for the Roman Catholic Church and the role that the Roman Catholic played, but that the Pope was giving kind of a general apology for Christianity and the role that Christianity had played in colonization and the residential school system.
I know you were watching along, of course, the coverage of that apology, and part of it was how those who were there listening reacted to the words of the Pope. And of course, everyone's reactions will be very different depending on where they are on the journey and how, of course, they view this. And we heard the Pope say, "I am deeply sorry for the ways in which, regrettably, many Christians supported decolonizing mentality of the powers that oppress the Indigenous peoples." And when we heard that, there was audible applause and cheers. What did you make of that reaction?
I think it's nice for some Indigenous peoples to hear that. It's not something that has been, said before and has been highly anticipated from the Pope. And as you said, every Indigenous person is on their own journey with healing. And so for some people, this apology might be enough for them. For other Indigenous peoples, it might require more work in order for them to continue on with their healing journey.
That was residential school researcher Tiffany Preet in Lethbridge, Alberta. She's an assistant professor with the University of Lethbridge Sociology Department.
So fucking, I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, if it provided someone comfort that was hurt, then fantastic. But like, seriously, I roll my eyes at the idea of the Pope, the Catholic Church. I think it's all a scam. Now, here's a preacher I think we can all agree is scamming because he's one of those bling bling type preachers. I did not know that. Curiouser, your cat is in the house. Please, if I'm doing a story about genocide, can you not interrupt me? That would be really fucking cool. Like this is why, like, I still did my stream when my own cat was missing and didn't let it interrupt me. And here you are. Like, your cat, like, totally comes back in. Goes outside all the time, and you're bugging me about her. I don't understand it. I would rather not be interrupted when I'm doing the story about the genocide, you know? Like, that's like, I was already running incredibly late when you were trying to call me. So, like, I was rushing as it was. Now I'm not high enough for this shit. We're gonna watch this preacher get assaulted. That should be fun. Fuck the Pope. So blinged out Brooklyn bishop. He's a bishop. Robbed mid-sermon. Armed thieves make off with $400,000 in jewelry. Cat-related domestic incident in the Justin Freakin Street. Oh, goddamn. The dude had $400K worth of jewelry on him. I didn't know they employed the word blinged in the article. This is the New York Daily News. Blinged out Brooklyn bishop. Robbed mid-sermon. Armed thieves make off with $400,000 worth of jewelry. We've got the video. Apparently he's a high-profile bishop. 3 thieves were caught on tape barging into a Brooklyn church on Sunday where controversial Bishop Lamore Whitehead, an ally to Mayor Adams, who is the recently elected mayor of New York City, was preaching and snatched $400,000 worth of jewelry off of him and his wife. Almost $500,000 worth of jewelry. This motherfucker is supposedly a Christian. He's got $500,000 worth of jewelry on him.
Yo. All right.
Huh. I shouldn't laugh about this. Bonjour. Welcome. This is kind of awkward to watch. $500,000 worth of jewelry on his person, though. Yes, the Bible says you like a rich man stands a better chance of passing through the eye of a needle than getting into heaven. He got right the fuck down. There's no playing hero for him. You go back to preaching?
Come on.
Wow. That's...
Yo. All right. Yo, all right.
Look at the outfit he has on. Yeah, we're watching it again. I'm fascinated. And like, this dude over here, his reaction to everything. Nobody tried to play hero. Decadent and godly. I don't know, there's a lot of money in that grift. Believe me, like, if I could be a great preacher. I could be a great preacher. If I believed in that shit. I could have been preacher freaking. Fascinated by it. When the armed marauders appeared. Sparkles and I was talking about meth marauders the other day. The stunned whitehead, who was wearing a clerical collar, burgundy vestments with gold trim and a long gold necklace, stopped his sermon and crouched down saying, "Yo, all right. Oh, fuck. The robbers took off in a white Mercedes-Benz and are still being sought. After they were gone, the pastor gets up, his collar askew. Walks out of the frame of the video. Later, he took to social media to put the crime in context. I was born without jewelry. Jewelry didn't make me, Whitehead said after the attack in a live video to his 1.3 million Instagram followers. Well, can we go to Instagram? I wanna see the video. Hi, Smokey. I'll pick you up here in a second. Let you say hey to everybody. This yesterday? God, it's a 40-minute video. $500,000 worth of jewelry. All right, brother, get to it. Come on. I don't want to see you put balm on your lips.
There's a few things that I need to set straight
This is why you give people a countdown, motherfucker, so everybody knows when you're coming on.
There's just certain things that I'm just going to not.
You guys think he might have known the attackers?
I'm not going to tolerate. There's certain things that I'm just not going to tolerate.
What you not gonna tolerate, sir?
Can act that Larry Reed, because this message goes to him and whoever that other lady was and whoever this other guy, I don't know none of them, this other guy that just jumped on and he's on his live talking about me. Y'all can add him. Y'all know who he is. But
he ain't even talking about the robbers. He's beefing with some people on social media. That makes sense.
I want to set the record straight. If you believe I'm disrespectful, just get off my live. I don't even know why you up here.
Doesn't seem very Christian to me. I haven't covered it, but apparently Jesse Lee Peterson had gay lovers. Just want to point that out. Amazing!
Join me because let me tell y'all something. The devil is busy. And one thing about Bishop Whitehead.
Sir, I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
I ain't never scared at all. Never scared. And at the end of the day, I ain't never in my life been bullied. And I'm not going to wait till I get into the church to let this gang bully me. Right? Never in life am I going to let it happen. And
I feel like you could put a beat under this. Like,
right?
he's sitting there behind
Nobody's
the chair.
going to
Like,
make
you
a
make this like
mockery
really gangsta.
of my church being robbed. As I sit there and watch Larry Reed, who I respected.
Who in the fuck is Larry Reed?
With him. But as I watched, as my team sent me the live, and I watched before I said I was on, I watched.
This is just 50 minutes of pure self-indulgence. Bullshit, sir. Did they catch the another man seen on the video sitting with what appears to be a prayer book, watches impassively as the crime goes down? I pointed him out. Did they catch them? Whitehead made the news recently when he tried to orchestrate the surrender of Andrew Abdullah, the man accused of fatally shooting Goldman Sachs researcher Daniel Enriquez on the Q train. Well, I don't know, like, did you shoot him because he was working at Goldman Sachs? Because that's kind of based. His checkered past at Winnemini supporters and law enforcement. Whitehead served 5 years in prison for a $2 million identity theft scam. Doesn't say if they caught the assailants. Nobody snitch. We're going to move to a town in, I think this is North Carolina, where they now have no full-time police officer, which is also based. Kinley to hold emergency meeting after police force. 2 clerks resigned in protest over hostile work environment. Ooh, do we have a video?
County now, where sheriff's deputies will soon be feeling the effects of what's going on in Kenley with the police department.
Also, like, did I get the state right on this shit? Yes, North Carolina is what we're talking about.
Resignations there. WRAL has now obtained all 8 resignation letters from the employees there and the police officers. They cite a hostile work environment with the town manager and stress, among other things. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan is in Kenley for us tonight with the new information.
Stress.
Since we broke this story last night, what do we know?
Dan, so the mayor and the town council are the ones responsible for hiring the town manager. However, none of them responded to any of my emails.
It does suck to get robbed at gunpoint, yes.
Shed light on the questions that are rippling through this town and what's going to happen after the entire police force leaves.
It's known as Friendly Kenley.
I love the small town atmosphere.
A quaint town of around 2,000 residents where everybody who strolls down these streets knows your name And
I feel like I've been there.
that business, a sudden mass exodus of the entire police force, including the chief and 2 of the town employees.
What's going on here that we don't know about?
Chief Josh Gibson, at the helm of the force for 2 decades, one of 7 putting in a resignation letter. Gibson alluding to a hostile work environment since town manager Justine Jones was hired last month. WRAL has obtained the resignation letters from Chief Gibson, many of his officers, Sharon Evans, town clerk, and Christy Thomas, utility clerk.
Wusses.
Put in yesterday. Utility clerk Christy Thomas writes, due to the current situations and stress, I will not let myself be around that kind of atmosphere. Chief Josh Gibson says, due to a hostile work environment now present in the town of Kenly, I do not believe progress is possible. We asked Justine Johnson about the letters today and said she couldn't talk as it's a personnel matter. WRAL has learned Jones sued her previous employer, Richland County, South Carolina, for gender and racial discrimination after she was terminated in 2015. She alleges hostile treatment by county leaders and retaliation for reporting bad behavior. The lawsuit case was voluntarily dismissed. Just 3 part-time officers now patrolling these streets is of great concern to longtime residents and business owners.
No, you're better off.
To think that that is a significant amount of security for a small town.
Now, Town Attorney Chip Hewitt speaking out today. He says, quote, we just learned about this yesterday. It affects the entire police department and staff members. We are looking at having an emergency special meeting to figure out how to move forward with it. Now, as far
I keep
as
doing that shit
here in the town of Kinley, Johnston County deputies filling in the gap. They'll be responding and patrolling here as well as the highway patrol. Dan?
Between a rock.
It sounds like there was some sort of accountability that could come from the new city manager, and the old politics club didn't like it. Over to Wisconsin, where a Democratic Senate candidate has quit. And I do not know what caused this. Wisconsin Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Tom Nelson quits race. Tom Nelson, a candidate who tried to position himself as the most progressive in Wisconsin's Democratic primary race for U.S. Senate, announced Monday he dropped out of the contest to face Republican incumbent Ron Johnson in November. Well, shit. Nelson, the Outagamie County executive, threw his support to Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who's in a tight race with Milwaukee Bucks executive Alex Lasry. State Treasurer Sarah Godlewski is polling further behind. Nelson was in 4th place. Oh, so he's dropped out simply because he didn't stand a chance. Mandela can now count on me to be on his side every step of the way, Nelson said in a statement. I urge other Democratic primary voters to also support him now as well. This could be a possible pickup for Democrats in the Senate. I've been predicting the Democrats will pick up a seat or 2 in the Senate this fall, and this could be one of the seats that they pick up. I think Pennsylvania is another seat they pick up. They might lose a seat and also pick up another seat somewhere else. Speaking of people quitting their jobs, Boris Johnson has apparently already checked out on his job of being Prime Minister.
Now, travel disruption, rail strikes and the soaring cost of living would make it a tough time for anyone to lead the country.
But as Boris Johnson prepares to leave office, some people say he's already checked out, taking selfies in a Typhoon jet, throwing grenades while visiting Ukrainian troops training in Yorkshire, missing Cobra meetings on the heatwave. Is Boris Johnson just behaving like Boris Johnson always has? Or is he shirking his responsibilities in these final days of his prime ministership?
Well, joining us now to discuss this are 2 former Conservative MPs, Edwina Currie, who thinks that Boris doesn't have any responsibilities anymore, and Anna Soubry, who says that Boris is simply ticking off his bucket list. Good morning to both of you. Edwina, let's start with you. So, I mean, he's...
Hey, Aaron, why don't you call in and talk to us? Do I have the phone lines up? I don't think I do. Let's make that happen. Aaron likes to come troll my videos. I appreciate the views, buddy. 917-830-4359, or you can hop in the Discord chat. Let's hear you voice your opinion, sir. I would love to hear from you. Give us a ring, or if you want to hop in the Discord chat, just hit bang Discord, and then tell me you've hopped in the Discord chat, and I'll hop in there with you. I gotta flip it over to this screen if you want to do the Discord. I gotta flip it over to this screen if you want to do the phone. We all set up, or we fancy over here. By the way, we have 19 people in here, sir. Instead of trying to get me to 10 people. We did at the time. Oh, thank you, Snicks. Over on the YouTube. Aaron, buddy, welcome. I love you too as well. Even though you're trying to call, I mean, like, I am bald. Like, that's totally a thing. Like, if you've been watching this stream long enough, you've seen me without a bandana on. It's not like I don't go out without a bandana on. So it's not like I'm hiding the fact that I'm bald or anything. It's genetics, man. Manchin has COVID. We are on.
Manchin dies of COVID watch.
We won't get it. Even if I was to get Aaron to call in, we wouldn't get a nice debate. That's for sure. Smokey, come up here, buddy. Come say hey to the stream. Smokesters. Borg's not a troll. Aaron Human is a troll. I mean, technically I'm a troll, right?
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
Yeah. Always be trolling. Always be trolling. Here we go. Here's a smoky bong. Not the one I just put down that I was smoking on. Missed you, buddy. He's gonna stay up here. He's been up in my lap most of the day. And fucking Austin Bennett.
Hey, Justin, are you trolling?
I think it was Lady B and I were in there. And he couldn't figure, like, Lady B was doing a really good job of being subversive. I was being a little more overt, because, you know, I'm me. I'm a little abrasive. I'm a little out there. Oh, shit. You know who else is abrasive and out there? Boris Johnson. The British Prime Minister is apparently checked out from his duties of being Prime Minister. After he has been ousted, he resigned. What, 2 weeks ago now? A week and a half ago now? We're going to see footage from the conservative debate to replace Boris Johnson here in just a moment.
Would make it a tough time for anyone to lead the country.
But as Boris Johnson prepares to leave office, some people say he's already checked out, taking selfies in a Typhoon jet, throwing grenades while visiting Ukraine.
Yes, Biden says he is feeling much better. But we are still on.
Biden dies of COVID watch.
That's why I'm tired of making that. I'm tired of making that graphic. And like, okay, so the original one, the Trump one.
Trump dies of COVID watch.
That one is really fucking old. That is like that's one of the very first graphics I ever made that went on screen, so it's like almost as old as the show. So the project file for like in After Effects is like full of shit. It's really old, and it's really fucking slow if I try to open that project file, and I keep having to make new versions of that graphic, and like it'll freeze up and be like not responding, and I'm like, ah. So I tried to copy it today, and then for some reason, like, it unlinked all the media that was in it, even though I copied it to a brand new file that didn't have anything else in it. Ooh, you got the hiccups. But I think I'm good now that I've made the Manchin one.
Manchin dies of COVID watch.
I didn't feel like recording myself saying Manchin.
Ukrainian troops training in Yorkshire. Missing.
Boris gonna get it again out here gallivanting around like that.
Is Boris Johnson just behaving like Boris Johnson always has? Or is he shirking his responsibilities in these final days of his prime ministership?
Well, joining us now to discuss this are two former Conservative MPs, Edwina Currie, who thinks that Boris doesn't have any responsibilities anymore, and Anna Soubry, who says that Boris is simply ticking off his bucket list. Good morning to both of you. Edwina, let's start with you. So, I mean, he's already...
Yeah, so like After Effects, like I'm going from Premiere to After Effects and linking like these project files. It's another reason why it freezes up on me. Boris should go fight in the Ukraine. I'm sorry, in Ukraine, not the Ukraine. I keep having to correct myself on that one. Boris should pack it up and go fight for the Ukrainian people, since he's been such a cheerleader for sending them so many American weapons and money. And I'm really coming around to the part of this where I'm like, this is a bottomless money pit. We should not be sending near the money and arms that we're sending over there. This is just feeding the war beast. This is just another reason for the defense contractors to drain our coffers.
Checked out, hasn't he? Isn't he just kind of winding down now, living his best life, making the most of it?
Can't blame him.
He's here, as I think you can see behind me. He was here. We had a party yesterday afternoon for the Conservative Party, and we raised over £1,000. Lots of new members, really good new faces. So I think the Conservative Party is in good shape. There's an idea that somehow if the Prime Minister is not actually sitting in his seat in the Cabinet Office, nothing is happening. And that is complete rubbish. As Anna well knows, there is all sorts of other people in Whitehall and in the ministries who are busy.
That is a common thing. Like, the IMF loves to put countries in debt to it. China does the same thing. It is that is the warfare of the future. Economic warfare. I honestly believe it.
Doing the jobs, you're never not covered. There's always a minister on duty. There's always civil servants on duty, very senior ones, and it's silly season. I mean, August is a time when Parliament isn't sitting, no legislation is having to be taken through Parliament, and so on. I'd say, good luck to Boris.
Yeah, hold on. The country still needs to.
He was absolutely super about Ukraine, and what he was doing was visiting the training of Ukrainian soldiers on British soil, and I think that's absolutely the right thing to do.
But the country still needs to be run, doesn't it? There are a lot of big issues going on at the moment. We were talking about the travel disruption, the rail strikes, soaring cost of living, energy prices going up. He's not reading briefings.
Oh, yeah, we haven't checked in with the rail strike lately.
Well, there's also a myth around, and it's put around mainly by socialists who truly believe it, that actually the Prime Minister and the government run everything, should run everything, and are responsible for everything, and that's not true. If we're going to cope in a heat wave, the intelligent thing to do is for most of us to get in the shade and drink more water, which is actually what
So we don't
happened.
really need a Prime Minister then? Is the country's run by civil servants?
We need less government. Oh, I'm so glad you put it so well. We need less government, and we need more trusting people to take intelligent decisions on their own behalf.
Edwina, when you were a senior minister in the government, can you imagine John Major ever behaving like this?
Well, I can imagine Ed Balls behaving like this, and I'm sure you did. I'm sure you took holidays. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you got fed up with the idea that actually government is responsible for absolutely everything, and what on earth are they doing having a holiday?
Edwina, that was a politician's...
Boomer brain indeed.
Can you imagine? Look, I've never thrown a grenade, been in a typhoon, but John Major was the Prime Minister. He had a period when he was standing down.
This is meaningless. We are not learning anything from this, so sorry, Warlord. These people are boring. These conservative women that came on to talk about Boris Johnson, they are not telling us anything. Truss and Sunak rivalry turns bitter before latest UK TV debate that happened earlier today. I guess in the evening for those of you in the UK, earlier today for those of us over here on this side of the pond. After a televised conservative leadership debate exposed the stark divisions among rivals vying to be the next UK Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak turned to Liz Truss and asked, "Why are we doing this?" Both are now in the runoff to succeed Boris Johnson as Tory party leader, yet any intentions to try to temper so-called blue-on-blue attacks ahead of another televised debate at 9 p.m. on Monday appear to have been abandoned. If anything, the sparring has become even nastier and more personal. The latest row was triggered Sunday when Sunak's campaign accused Truss of turning a blind eye to Chinese influence by allowing the proliferation of state-sponsored language institutes. Now, they mentioned that in the debate earlier. I don't know if that's in the clip we're getting ready to play, but that was totally one of the things she kept saying in the portion that I watched earlier. Was hitting on the Chinese influence. The issue is sensitive for Truss, who, as Johnson's foreign secretary, has overseen a hardening of the UK's position toward China under pressure from Tory MPs. Her team countered by briefing reporters. It is Sunak who is soft on China while he was chancellor of the... God, I had to look this up the other day, and I completely fucking forgot. Once again, it's a chance for us to learn a new word.
Exchequer.
Exchequer. A royal or national treasury. Exchequer. In British language, the bank account into which tax receipts and other public monies are paid, the funds of the British government. Exchequer. He was Chancellor of the Exchequer, accusing him of prioritizing trade over... I guess that would be the Secretary of the Treasury, the equivalent of the Secretary of the Treasury here in the United States. Let's check out some key moments from the debate that happened Monday evening, British time, earlier today here in the U.S.
Who will be our next Prime Minister? Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak? In just 6 weeks' time, one of them will be moving into number 10 Downing Street. Is now the right time to cut taxes, Rishi Sunak?
Well, look, we all took a decision to protect the economy and support the NHS through COVID. And of course, we all knew there was a bill that we needed to pay for that.
Under my plans, we would start paying down the debt in 3 years' time. So I'm not putting it on the never, never. I would start paying it down in 3 years.
Liz, that's simply not right. You promised almost £40 billion of...
He talked over a lot.
£40 billion more borrowing. That is the country's credit card. It's our children and grandchildren, everyone here, kids, who are going to have to pick up the tab for that.
Rishi, that is not true.
There's nothing conservative about doing that.
Under my plans, we would start paying down the debt in 3 years' time.
You know what? Liz, your plans, your own economic advisor has said that that would lead to mortgage rates, interest rates going up to 7%.
I don't believe this negative, declinist language.
It's your own
that we're
economic
hearing.
advisor, Liz. It's not mine. It's your own advisor.
I have lots of economists that are backing my plans.
I must clarify one part of your policy programme, Liz Truss, which is you say you're going to stretch the debt out, the COVID debt, which is, I think, £400 billion over, I don't know, 50 or 100 years.
Now, Warlord tells me these two over here are fact checkers from the BBC. I was like, what's the fuck? What's up with these two over here?
But do you know what long-term interest rates are right now? They're higher.
Let's be clear, Faisal. There is already headroom of approximately 30 billion in the budget. We are still able to start paying debt down after 3 years.
Can we talk about China? Because you've really been trading blows about China today over Britain's relationship with China.
What we do need to do is acknowledge that China is a threat to our national security. It's a threat to our economic security.
As recently as a month ago, you were pushing for closer trade relationships with China. This is not something you've advocated in government. I'm delighted that you've come round.
Republicans wouldn't agree to the
I
debate.
want to talk now about the tone of this campaign, because it has already become very personal, hasn't it? I mean, I am looking at your earrings, Liz Truss. There's talk of how much they cost.
And that is something I want to point out is like, coming up on the presidential election in 2024, it's quite possible that they might not participate in the debates. There might not be a presidential debate the way we have known them in the past, because the Republicans have already said that they're not going to participate in the one done by the Presidential Debate Commission, or whatever the fuck the commission is, that they agreed to fucking years ago because they didn't like the League of Women Voters conducting the debate. So just every 20 or so years, the Republicans get upset at the people that hold the debate and call them unfair, and they won't participate. I believe that happened in the late 80s when they got upset at the League of Women Voters. Oh.
Today, I don't know if they're the ones you're wearing, but £4.50 was the figure that was being bandied around. Your suits and your shoes, which were apparently much more expensive.
Look,
he's a fancy lad.
I don't have any issue with how expensive anybody else's clothes are, and actually I think Rishi is a very finely dressed person, and I'm a great admirer of his dress sense. So that is not something that I would, and I don't know.
They're talking about how snazzy he's dressed, and it is like a plain off-white color shirt, no tie, top button unbuttoned, and just like a navy, maybe like a fucking like dark navy suit, like that's your snazzy dressing right there. Man, British people are fucking weird. Hey, there's one in the chat. Oh, fuck.
That is not something that I would, and I don't know how she knows where I got my earrings, to be perfectly frank about it.
I want to talk about Boris Johnson. We haven't spoken about Boris Johnson tonight. Rishi Sunak, what do you say to Conservative Party voters who perhaps voted Conservative at the last general election because they wanted Boris Johnson as Prime Minister? What do you say to them, people who now see you as the man who brought him down?
Well, it was an easy decision. It was a difficult decision. I've explained my reasons for it at the time. But it was a decision I made on principle.
You know, yes, he made mistakes, and he admitted he made mistakes, but I didn't think the mistakes he made were sufficient that the Conservative Party should have rejected him.
If you lose this contest and Rishi Sunak becomes the next Prime Minister, what quality does he need to work on in order to be the best possible Prime Minister?
What a question.
You should work on, and I want to work on this with you, and if I win, I would love you to be part of my team, is taking more risks and being bolder.
Ooh, sorry, that was a little loud there at the end. They took some risks and they got bolder with the audio. So that is the debate to be the next Prime Minister. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Meanwhile, back here on this side of the pond, Senator Manchin tests positive for COVID-19. We are now on
Manchin dies of COVID watch.
Said in a tweet this morning, I tested positive for COVID-19. I'm fully vaccinated and boosted, and I'm experiencing mild symptoms. I will isolate and follow CDC guidelines as I continue to work remotely to serve West Virginians. Biden says he is feeling good and recovering nicely from his COVID symptoms. Almost completely resolved, doctor said. President Biden's COVID-19 symptoms have now almost completely resolved, his physician wrote in a letter on Monday. Biden said Monday he's feeling great after having 2 full nights of sleep, but his voice remains raspy. I'm feeling better every day. I still have a little bit of a sore throat and a little bit of a cough, but it's changing significantly. I hope I'm back to work in person at the end of this week. Until then, we are still on
Biden dies of COVID watch.
There is no God. There can't possibly be a God, given the horrible people in this world that seem to get off scot-free. If there were a God, then I think I would be rewarded by getting to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Give me that eye pussy, sir. Give me that eye pussy. If there were a God, I'd get me some of that eye pussy. Why would God favor me if there were a God? Why, I'm not a good person. I'm a all right person at best. Oh, fucking shit. Biden had 17 potential close contacts after testing positive for COVID-19, but as of Monday, none have since tested positive. Biden finished his 4th full day of taking Pfizer's antiviral pill Paxlovid on Sunday night. The president only notes some residual nasal congestion and minimal hoarseness. Hoarseness. I don't know why I said it like that. I guess Biden was a little hoarse when he said that we're not going to be in a recession. He was participating remotely in this meeting of CEOs and labor leaders in Washington, D.C. Snicks, I'm interested to have that conversation with you, and I feel like it's a deep conversation. I can understand why. As a white male who has just been able to like luck into shit pretty much. And there's definitely a privilege that comes with it. I forfeit some of that privilege looking the way I do, looking like a pirate, apparently. I will tell you, like, as somebody who has wore suits and ties and had nice hair and well kept, and somebody who has looked like this, you get treated a little different. White males indeed have it so good. I mean, I can't argue with that. And there are people that are like, oh, well, because like Mitt Romney was like, if my name was Mexican or whatever the fuck it was, I can't remember what the exact quote was. He's like, I'd be president or something. It's like no, that's not how that works at all. Like you're a mediocre guy. The only reason why you're in the position you're in is because your name is Romney. And because of your dad's position and shit. Like, sir, have some self-awareness. Have some self-awareness. I applied for a job in Alpharetta, Georgia. Like I would do, like the company seems cool. I think I might have a shot at it. Meet their criteria. They wanted a little recorded video, so I gave them a cartoon of me. He didn't have "fuck Nazis" on his shirt though. He was wearing a suit and tie. It was the freaking news, Justin, not the funny T-shirt, Justin. President Biden said on Monday, he did, and that's another thing that we're getting ready to do the financial shit right now. We're going to talk financial stories. We're going to talk about labor. Good night, Porg. Right now is like, it's that time. Like if you have been thinking about making a change in your employment, if you have been trying to switch, because like usually you switch jobs, you get a bump up in pay. If you have been thinking about putting in resumes, getting on the ZipRecruiter, getting on the LinkedIn, now is the time to do it. They keep talking about a recession. I think something is getting ready to happen. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But you might want to go ahead, get those resumes out there before the fall. As of right now, stocks are up. Paul Krugman says the stock market could lose half its value soon. However, Paul Krugman also, I believe he was the one that said something to the effect of the internet will be as consequential as the fax machine. So maybe don't trust Paul Krugman. President Biden said Monday he does not think the U.S. will experience a recession despite decades-high inflation that's showing signs of easing up. The Commerce Department will release its initial estimate of second quarter growth on Thursday. If it shows that gross domestic product has fallen again, the U.S. would be in the colloquial definition of a recession, which is 2 consecutive quarters of contraction. In the first quarter of 2022, the U.S. economy contracted at a 1.4% annual rate, the first time it shrank since the spring of 2020 at the onset of the pandemic. We're not going to be in a recession, in my view, Biden said. The unemployment rate is still one of the lowest we've had in history. It's in the 3.6% area. We still find ourselves with people investing. My hope is we go from this rapid growth to a steady growth, so we'll see some coming down, God willing. I don't think we're going to see a recession. The White House has argued that even if the number turns out to show a second straight quarter of negative growth, the U.S. economy was almost certainly not in a recession in the first half of the year, Axios' Neil Irwin reports. In the following definitions of a recession, the White House Council of Economic Advisors recently contended that only economic indicators such as employment, inflation-adjusted consumer spending, and industrial production do not point to a recession. He moved his food bowl. He wants food. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen acknowledged Sunday that the U.S. economy is slowing down, but she also pushed back against the idea that the U.S. has entered a recession, noting that many of the traditional recession signs are not apparent. The Fed is facing new pressure now that the economy is slowing down. A new attack on the Federal Reserve from Senator Elizabeth Warren is an early sign the central bank faces a rocky path ahead in navigating politics. It will simultaneously face the music for allowing high inflation to take hold and for the economic pain resulting from its efforts to bring down prices. The Fed has left itself in a precarious position, with lawmakers and the public amid soaring inflation and a newly aggressive game of catch-up that risks a recession. Warren writes in a Wall Street Journal op-ed that the Fed's rate hiking campaign, including another 0.75 percentage point expected Wednesday, risks triggering a devastating recession. Fortunately, the Fed has seized on aggressive rate hikes, a big dose of the only medicine at its disposal, even though they are largely ineffective against many of the underlying causes of this inflationary spike, Warren writes, which would be the hiccups in the supply chain, the limited supply of goods, the short supplies of energy and food due to the Ukraine war. That's another factor. I was thinking more the pandemic. There's still a pandemic going on. The Biden administration has been content to put the Fed front and center in its messaging on inflation. And here's the thing, is that Senator Joe Manchin, President Biden, they get to quarantine, they get to do things remotely. Not a lot of workplaces are going to be willing to work with the everyday ham and eggers, as you'd call them, the working class, where people are going to feel the need to go in and work sick and will spread COVID, and this fall is going to look horrendous, isn't it? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but fucking... Ooh, doggy. And let's hope it, it's looking like it's going to stay nice and warm and crispy for months to come. Maybe that helps keep the COVID numbers low, but we could see another wave hit the U.S. and no protection coming from the federal government. Warren is speaking for many on the left who are less than thrilled with this approach. They fear the Fed's aggressiveness will mean lower wage workers bear the brunt of tightening and could prove an early sign of things to come. What's up, Rocksteady Jr.? Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has managed generally good relationships with the Biden administration with both sides of the aisle on Capitol Hill. He secured 80 Senate confirmation votes for a second term just 2 months ago. But I feel like the Biden administration should have gone with a fresh start. But who am I? Who am I to make these decisions? We do politics here. We do a rundown of the news daily, 8 p.m. Eastern. Now we're on the economics and labor portion of the show. A former teacher says he earns higher pay as a Walmart professional. This is in Canton, Ohio.
What was meant to be a funny video unexpectedly went viral.
I didn't think it would be this good, but I was like, I'm gonna get a couple hundred likes. So just the fact that it blew up, and I've only been on it for like a year, it was really cool to see just the power of the internet.
Seth Gosshorn, a former teacher in Canton of nearly 6 years, gave up a fulfilling career for one that better.
Well, thank you, Rocksteady Jr. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being a freaking follower.
And making about $20,000 more.
Last year I made about $43K teaching, so not anything terrible, but it also still left a lot to be desired.
Seth, who has a degree in early childhood education, is now a Walmart coach. And more than a month into his new job, he says it's been a smooth transition.
Not having to go get a degree, spend more money to make a little bit more money, being able to move up through a company that trains you for what they want you to be able to accomplish.
This is so sad.
And said he would not discourage anyone from teaching, but he acknowledges educators need better support.
Now this is a
scheduled for 40 hours.
This could be classified as what they call perseverance porn. So we're looking at this guy, and like most people would react to this, not as the dystopian sign of late stage capitalism that this is. No. Most people would look at this like, oh, he's making 20 more grand at the Walmart. Good for him. He's happy. Blah, 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 blah. I do indeed have a Discord. Boom. But I see this for what it really is. Oh, Merkin. I am so sorry. There are multiple tsunamis. A confluence of events that are just like... There is the attack on the school system from the right wing. There's the monkeypox epidemic. There's COVID. There's the fact of a massive teacher shortage. All coming together here this fall in the United States. And I'm worried about once children start having outbreaks of monkeypox, and the news has conditioned them to think of it as a gay person disease that was mainly being spread by men having sex with men. They're going to use that as fodder coming after teachers. I've already seen it. Put together a tribe. If I was a teacher, I would have been high school, college. I wouldn't want to teach the youngins at all. No. But then high schoolers have their own set of challenges.
The hours, they're working a lot more than that, whether it's teaching, grading, after school. I know I coach football and track, so those were other things on the weekends. I did summer school. Like, we don't have all the time off that they think.
According
God,
to
he was wore out, I bet.
the median teacher assignment salary statewide is $64,000. Pay can vary widely depending on what county and the school district teachers work. Then there's the mounting pressure on the curriculum and what is being taught in classrooms.
There's a lot of change going on in education, laws and rules being passed by people that aren't educators, which makes it hard because they just don't quite get it.
Seth hopes this video serves as a teaching moment about the power of the career pivot and the importance of supporting teachers.
That's the goal. I'm going to be a lifelong teacher. I'll always be a part of my life, whether it's at Walmart or on social media.
In Canton, Maya Belai, Fox 8 News.
There's going to be another all-out assault come legislation. The next thing they're coming for is gay rights. And they're going to try, I am convinced they are going to try to purge the schools of any teacher that is black in the name of CRT. They're going to try to purge the schools of any teacher that is gay or non-binary. It's coming, and it's coming to a school this fall. I'm scared to death of what this country is turning into. As if it's ever been all that good. This dude making more as a Walmart coach than he was as a teacher. This despite the fact that, Walmart is notorious for unfair labor practices. That tells you how shitty being a teacher is. 2 Philly Walmart workers sue retail giant for alleged labor violations. The workers claim the company violated Philadelphia's Fair Work Week law by regularly making unexpected and last-minute changes to their schedules. 2 former Walmart employees filed a lawsuit on Tuesday against the retail giant, claiming the company violated their rights to a predictable and regular schedule. Donald Washington and Simone Wilder, both former employees at the Bustleton Walmart on Roosevelt Boulevard, filed a suit against Walmart on Tuesday, claiming the company regularly violated Philadelphia's Fair Work Week ordinance. Washington and Wilder are filing the suit on behalf of what could potentially be thousands of hourly non-exempt Walmart employees in the city, said David Huing, a lawyer on the suit who works at the Community Legal Services. We take the requirements of the Philadelphia Fair Work Week ordinance seriously and have policies in place to comply with it. We will respond to the lawsuit as appropriate once we are served with the complaint, Randy Hargrove, a Walmart spokesperson, said in a statement. Boo, Randy Hargrove. Well, he's a coach, he's not an associate. I need to hit the content warning for this next story. I can't believe another sign of the late stage capitalist dystopian hellscape. Hellscape that we are currently living through. Children as young as 12 have been working at a Hyundai owned factory in Alabama. Hyundai? I still don't even know. Underage workers have been reportedly working at a Hyundai-owned supply factory in Alabama, according to a report published on Friday by Reuters. Children as young as 12. 12. We are back to child labor violations. Children as young as 12 worked at the Smart Metal stamping plant in Laverne, Alabama, which supplies parts for the Hyundai assembly line in nearby Montgomery, according to Reuters. The news outlet said it learned of child labor following the brief disappearance of a Guatemalan migrant. A Guatemalan migrant from her family's home in Alabama in February. Pedro Tees, the father of the soon-to-be 14-year-old girl, confirmed with Reuters that she and her two brothers, aged 12 and 15, were not attending school and working at the plant. According to reports by Reuters, Z's children were among a larger group of minors working at the plant, adding that several of them have abandoned schooling to work long shifts at the plant. Many of the minors at the plant were hired through recruitment agencies, according to current and former smart workers and local labor recruiters who spoke to Reuters. Tabitha Moultrie, 39, a former smart employee, told Reuters that the plant relied on migrant workers to keep up with high demand and remembered working with a migrant girl who looked 11 or 12 years old. She was way too young to be working in the plant or any plant. Another former employee told Reuters that they were around 50 underage workers working at the facility. In a statement to Reuters, Hyundai said it does not tolerate illegal employment practices at any Hyundai entity. We have policies and procedures in place that require compliance with all local, state, and federal laws. In a separate statement, Smart told Reuters the factory denies any allegation that it knowingly employed anyone who is ineligible for employment, adding that it requires these agencies to follow the law in recruiting, hiring, and placing workers on its premises. All that is over now, the father told Reuters. The kids aren't working, and in the fall, they will be in school. Did the father know about this? Did the father know about this? Hey, Battle Opossum, speaking of wrestling, we're going to talk about wrestling here in a little bit. No need to pass it. There's plenty of blame to go around. Yeah, indeed. And okay, so here, this came out on Friday. This came out on Friday. How has the Department of Labor not shut it down? How has the Department of Labor not shut this shit down today, on Monday? We have allegations of child workers working long hours at a factory. The fuck? Why is this plant? Maybe it was raided today. Maybe it was shut down. But this story does not reflect that. A reading from Insider. It was a Reuters story originally. This was published a couple of days ago. They have not updated it. Here we go. Since we're talking about labor practices, let's move on to Vince McMahon, who is now retired. An abrupt retirement came Friday afternoon. After the stock market closed, Vince McMahon announced that he was retiring at 77 years old. It's time for me to retire. In a weird... I don't think it's all of a sudden. Rocksteady. History is constantly putting us in precarious situations. I mean, it sucks that we have to keep fighting the same fights over and over again. But I mean, it's the old adage: if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. So now we're entering an era where we're gonna have to have like 1880s, 1890s style fucking labor revolts. '30s style labor revolts. And we're in the throes of late stage capitalism, and we're also in the throes of a paradigm shift. We're at the crossroads of history, if you will. Federal prosecutors, SEC, are probing the ex-WWE CEO Vince McMahon's hush payments, according to a report. Vince originally said that the hush payments were paid out of his personal money, not the company money. Apparently, the WWE will be amending their filings to reflect the at least $14.6 million in hush money payments. The Securities and Exchange Commission and federal prosecutors have launched probes into payments made by World Wrestling Entertainment CEO Vince McMahon to settle allegations of sexual misconduct, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal. The WWE on Monday disclosed $14.6 million of previously unrecorded expenses paid personally by McMahon, who announced his retirement on Friday. The company also hinted, now this could actually get to be securities fraud. Motherfucker was using company money. He could actually face jail time for this. The feds may get Vince McMahon yet. The company also hinted that the misconduct allegations, already the subject of an ongoing independent review overseen by the board of directors, are under investigation by other entities, but did not specify which agencies. According to the Wall Street Journal, these federal investigations into McMahon hastened his retirement from the company. McMahon, 76. I think I just called him 77. My apologies, Vinny Moo. It is the largest shareholder in the company with approximately 32% stake. McMahon allegedly paid nearly $15 million to women from 2006 through this year. 76, and he is still living in sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Vinnie Mac.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. The company was set to report August 9th, but the revisions could delay that. Shares of WWE rose more than 8% to reach a new 52-week high on Monday. Investors became more bullish about a potential sale of the wrestling media company. The stock is up 45% so far this year, outpacing the S&P 500, which is off more than 16%. I think it's a good thing, just based on like fucking Triple H and Stephanie being in charge. So, see you, Vince. Meanwhile, let's check in on the wildfires out west, which are still raging, unfortunately.
The fast-moving oak fire burning in Mariposa County this morning. At this point, it's burned more than 15,000 acres. Containment is zero.
Meat cakes!
Is under investigation. The governor is declared
bad skeleton. Welcome.
Mariposa County. ABC 10's John Bartel has been on the ground all day into the evening in Mariposa County, bringing us the latest on the fire and its impact on local communities.
Walt, this morning, ground crews making good.
Speaking of fire, I'm not high enough for this shit.
We're at a road closure just outside of the town of Mariposa, and this is where fire crews have been working real hard to contain those flames all night long. Yesterday, the fire started moving southeast away from Mariposa, one of the county's most populated areas. Unfortunately, in the path of several mountain homes. Right now, CAL FIRE doesn't have a final count on the burned structures, but we've been chasing the fire all along Triangle Road and Jerseydale Road and saw dozens of structures completely burned. Since Sunday,
check out this truck and this evasive maneuver it's doing.
East of Mariposa. Many of those evacuees spent the night at the Mariposa Elementary, where the Red Cross has been caring for them.
I think there are a lot of people who are worried and trying to figure out what the next step's going to be. Everybody wants to get back to the property, see and do find out what's if they need to replace or rebuild.
Now, some good news, the fire is moving towards the old 2018 Ferguson fire burn scars, an area with a lot less fuel. Fire crews also have been able to create a fire line.
Oh, good thing it's moving towards another one of our recent fires.
Including 17 helicopters will resume water and fire retardant drops. And as of yesterday, more than 2,000 ground crews have been fighting this fire. And this morning, Walt, several road closures still in effect. Parts of Highway 140 and Highway 49 are still closed. And more evacuees are expected to come into these shelters. The Red Cross is expecting more people to be using their facilities at the Mariposa Elementary School. And they say
crackle on cocaine.
Back to you.
Okay, that's John Bartel near the fire in Mariposa.
Now I don't do no cocaine.
I was on crack.
Right. Well,
Cocaine. Oh, shit.
Mariposa County. John, thank you. Firefighters from our area are joining this fight. Sac Metro Fire, several other agencies are helping to battle this blaze. They've already sent out 4 fighters and plan to send out another 8.
We work together with our cooperating agencies, so Metro Fire will send out one Type 3 apparatus, and that is a pump and roll capable engine. We are also in the process of sending out both of our Type 1 apparatus. Those apparatuses are
pump and roll.
They've got about 700 gallons of water in the tank.
Stockton Fire also deploying.
That's one of my finishing maneuvers in the bedroom.
Amador Fire Protection District and Merced Fire Department. You can find a full list of evacuations and other fire resources. We have it all on our website, abc10.com.
So that's one extreme of the climate change emergency we're currently in. Let me show you the opposite extreme. Let's go to Greenland. Should be all nice and icy. Greenland ice melt kicks into high gear. The Greenland ice sheet saw a sharp spike in the rate and extent of melting last week, with 18 billion tons of water running into the North Atlantic in just 3 days. Satellite photos reveal melt ponds dotting the ice cover, particularly near the coasts. Oh, fucking shit. Greenland's melting ice is the top annual contributor to global sea level rise. How much of and how quickly the ice sheet is lost will determine the fate of coastal cities from Hong Kong to Miami. Uptick in ice loss that occurred during the July 15th to 17th period sent enough water careening off the ice sheet to fill 2.4 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. But another way, it was the equivalent of covering all of West Virginia in 4 inches of water per day for a total of 1 foot. While this sounds extreme, Scambo said it doesn't rank as the highest melt surge scientists have witnessed in recent years. Periods of exceptionally mild weather, even at the highest reaches of the ice sheet, have become common since about the year 2010, which some researchers find unnerving. When the researchers are unnerved, maybe it's about time you get unnerved. I don't know what we do at this point. Like we talked about last night when we were hearing from Al Gore, like we need to try something, everything we can, but like fucking poof. I feel sorry for anybody who has the children's, like fucking, hopefully my 40s are my best years of my life. We still have a little bit of country and amenities to enjoy, and hey, past 2030 is a little questionable. But I like the children.
Come on, man.
Biden wasn't put in there to be a good president. Biden was put into office to make sure things stay the same. Investors, moneyed interests, were tired of Trump and the instability, and they wanted a return to Obama-era policies. They did not want the drastic change of Bernie Sanders. That's why they put all their weight behind Joe Biden. And I've said many times on this show that if we were going to have Joe Biden, I wish we'd had Joe Biden at least 5 or 6 years ago. Wish he'd ran for president in 2016. Probably would have won. I don't know what you mean that didn't happen. Wall Street Wall Street's doing gangbusters right now. I think they're a little scared of labor at the moment. They're trying to smack down labor and the working class. They're going to try to discipline us somehow. I think we got a little too much power in the workforce. I don't exactly know what that discipline is, but like I think they're the raising of the interest rates and trying to force a slowdown in the economy. They want like a little mini recession, and it's going to hit people that are on the edge already. It's going to allow companies like BlackRock to buy up even more of the housing stock in the country as we head further into the apocalypse. I mean, here's the thing, Rocksteady, is if we're talking about economics, to the extent presidents have an effect on the economy, it takes a couple of years to actually see their policy. 2, 3, 4 years maybe even, to really see their effect on the economy. So, like, it's hard to judge Biden now. Maybe this time next year we can start to say, like, okay, now we're seeing the effect that Biden is having on the economy. But really what you're seeing is the effect of the pandemic. You're seeing the effect of the Trump economy, his tariffs. A lot of people forget that we were starting trade wars all over the fucking place. Lumber prices are set for a shakeup with the rollout of new futures contracts. As I was mentioning earlier, the market closed up today. We can see that here in the Business Insider, I think. Yeah, there's the ticker. The Dow is up. S&P is up. Gold's up. Oil's up. The capitalist class is doing just fucking fine. They're getting what they want out of the Biden administration. Like, you're not looking at it from the right perspective. Like, we have tried to institute these populist movements. Right-wingers think they were part of a populist movement. They weren't. They were just being used by rich assholes like the Mercers and the Koch Foundation and the Heritage Foundation, all the fucking Federalist Society, all these far-right nutjob think tank bullshit types. Over on the liberal side, you've got like the actual like capitalist class, like the fucking the CEOs that aren't nut jobs now are backing Biden. And like not the Peter Tills. The fucking nut job CEOs and shit, they're over there on the Trump train and shit. Labor prices are set for a shakeup with the rollout of new future. And see, that's the thing is like lumber inflation had already started before Trump even left office. And like I saw many a right-wing article arguing that it was a good thing that that lumber prices were going up. A top broker says trading volume could soar 10 times. Lumber prices have been on a wild ride in the last few years, but they could soon get less volatile with the trading volume set to soar. Along with other top commodities, lumber prices have seen big swings since the pandemic. They collapsed below $300 per thousand board feet in early 2020 and jumped to $1,000. Later that year, crashed again and soared past $1,700 in May of 2021. What's the deal with all the skulls, guys? Is it a thing? Is like, am I missing out on
man.
something? Joker's manslave, bad skeleton. What are you guys up to? Do I know what it is? Is it like I've not experienced this from the YouTube, and they're just using skull emotes. So I'm interested. Do you guys have something to say? Like, hey, is somebody in the Discord? We'll go over here to the voice. There's nobody in the voice chat. One of you want to call in? Do you want to give me a ring? Give me a ring. Let's talk about it. It's kids. Maybe it's kids. This is an 18 plus. This is an 18 plus channel. It is kind of good. Well, like that's why I wasn't bothered by the emotes at all. But like, it's just like, why are you spamming them? Is there a reason? Are you trying to get my attention? You have it. You have my attention. What do you mean you're secret? You don't have to tell me your name. You can block your number. Call in. Hop into the Discord voice chat. We like to talk around here. Justin is for the kids. Justin is for the children's. I don't think we're for the kids because we get the content warning around here. We live in sexual anarchy.
Live in sexual anarchy.
I'd be pissing in eye pussies. Stay off my lawn.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
We will see who cancels who. Are you guys gonna do something fun? Content warning, fuckers. Get it right. See ya. It was nice hanging out with you guys while you were here. The kids are skating in your driveway. Glad to have you guys here. Glad to see you. Well, I did that Bubble Guppies video I did with John Cena went fucking viral with the kids, with the children's. So the cat's gonna hack up a hairball in the futon over here. Buddy, get down on the hardwood floor if you're gonna do that. Damn it, Smokey. He thinks he can get away with anything because, he's been missing for 8 days and I finally found him. Late on Saturday, early Sunday morning. All right, so apparently a Bill Burr bit went viral. We're going to see if Michael Knowles plays it. If not, we'll go and we'll find the bit. Curiouser was actually watching it in there the other day. Like, she had it on as we were smoking a bong, but I came back in here to do my thing. And, like, I heard her, like, rolling over the bit. So, perhaps it's pretty good, but the right-wingers are the ones sharing it out. So, that's why it gives me pause, like, okay. It's a Bill Burr stand-up comedy bit.
Special. I really like Bill Burr, though. For me, when it comes to comedy, there's Norm Macdonald. There was Norm Macdonald, the greatest, maybe the all-time greatest. And then there's sort of everybody else. So it's not like I'm a big super fan of really any living comedian. But
Norm is your all-time greatest. That's your GOAT, dude. What?
He's a pretty sharp guy and certainly very entertaining. So he's got this new special out.
I mean, I like Norm an awful lot.
But there's a clip that has gone viral, and it is a clip in which Bill Burr takes on abortion. It tells you a lot about the moment that we're living in, post Dobbs, Roe v. Wade.
I'm really interested in hearing this.
Taking on a whole new dimension. Even even the way comedy has evolved. Take a listen to Bill's take.
I don't like people telling me what to do, and I always just like, it's your body. Who the am I to tell you what to do with your body? So that always made sense, all right? However, I still think you're killing a baby. See? That's where it gets weird. Like, I sit on the fence.
But Bill, a baby has been born.
And the whole thing makes sense to me. Whatever anybody's saying, like, don't tell me what to do. It's my body, my choice. That's right, man. She's right. Leave it the hell alone. Oh, you're killing a baby. Well, I mean, there is that.
All right, pause it right here. Pause it right here. I love the way that he's setting this up. It's similar to the way Louis C.K. set up abortion, which is he said, look, abortion, I'll clean up the language a little. Abortion, it's just like going to the bathroom. You go get an abortion, you go to the bathroom, it's just exactly the same thing. There's no difference whatsoever. Or you're murdering a baby. And so he gives you the setup. I'm very pro-choice. I support abortion. But does this bother you?
It's not exactly how the bit goes, sir.
That's why they use all the euphemisms. They never say killing a baby. They never call the baby a baby. They don't even use the word abortion as much anymore.
It's not a baby.
Choice. Reproductive rights. Yeah, even though this is the opposite of reproduction. Yeah, it's women's health. All these euphemisms because they can't deal with the reality. And good comedians never shy away from the reality. So you're saying,
my God.
I get it. He's probably being sincere here. I can't tell if he's being totally ironic just to get a pro-life message through, or if he's being like, yeah, I get abortion. Yeah, it's fine. I'm kind of vaguely pro, but you are killing a baby, right? You're not going to shy away from that.
No.
So then, here's the punchline.
I mean, if we're going to be honest, that is the whole purpose of the procedure. You're not going in there because you got an earache. You're going in there because you're like, I got a baby in me, get the out of here. Right?
To terminate a pregnancy because a baby has been born.
What happened to the baby, right? Something happened. So, pro-choice people are like, well, it's not a life yet. It's not a baby yet. If you do, I don't know what they say. Before you do it the first Thursday or the last Tuesday, you spin around one time.
Pause it here, too. I love the way he's doing this, too. Because he's saying, look, they're saying it's not a life yet. And I don't know, maybe. What do I know? I'm not a bi. But here's what I know about their arguments. Is their arguments are always like, well, yeah, it's.
I was not impressed by that bit.
Magically, for
apparently
some reason,
that was like one of his closing bits.
A living human being, but not at 14 weeks and 6 days. That's why, and he just takes that to an extreme, which is and then you spin around, and on Tuesday morning, it's right. So he's showing his hand a little bit more. You can start to tell, okay, this guy seems to be a little bit more on the pro-life side here.
It's not a baby yet. That's what they say, which may or may not be true. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I'll tell you.
It's true.
Tells me that doesn't make sense. It's not a baby yet. That would be like if I was making a cake and I poured some batter in a pan and I put it in the oven, and then 5 minutes later you came by and you grabbed the pan, you threw it across the floor, and I went, what the f***, you just ruined my birthday cake? And then you were like, well, that wasn't a cake yet. It's like, well, it would have been. If you didn't do what you just did, there would have been a cake in 50 minutes. Something happened to that cake, you cake murdering son of a...
But it wasn't a cake.
The thing about Bill...
It wasn't a cake.
Burr is I once saw him do a bit, I think it was at an Opie and Anthony festival or something, and I saw...
Hey, Bill, you want to know how I know it's a cake? Because you ain't eating it yet. You ain't eating cake batter, are you, motherfucker? Why aren't you eating it? Because it's not a cake yet.
The bit online, and he can roll extemporaneously. He's clearly got really, really great chops. He plays the room so well. This bit was worked out.
That was not extemporaneous. He has rehearsed that
sometimes
to a fine point.
Occasionally, pro-life advocates will go a little far too, and they'll say, well, no, there's absolutely no distinction whatsoever between a baby at, 10 weeks.
It's not a cake. That's why he's not eating it.
And that's not exactly true either. Obviously, there are
many people. I cook my brownies. I think they're brownies. Many people think they're not brownies. You brought back the wrong kind of cake, you fucking idiot.
For sure, and differences of development. But it's essentially the same thing. We are talking about a baby at every stage. And the cake analogy, I think, is great. He goes, yeah, okay, the cake at 5 minutes in, it's not the exact same as the cake at an hour, but it is my cake, okay? It is my cake. And if you just leave the cake in there, it's going to be exactly like the cake that you're picturing in your mind. You cake-murdering SOB. The place that...
I kind of want some cake now.
...comedy will tell you where the culture is moving very often. This is true, it goes back to court jesters, that the court jester is the only one who's allowed to speak truth to the king. And it's very funny, that's how he can get away with it. Well, that's the same thing here. The establishment, the corporate mandated top-down culture that is just trying to suck the life out of you, in this case literally, is very pro-abortion. But the subversive elements, the counterculture...
You just have eggs, but it's not cake.
Hold on.
Egg.
It's not just a clump of cells. That's not just a parasite. That's not... It's a baby, right? Can we at least get back to the place where we're saying it's a baby?
Okay, it's a baby. It's killing a baby. I don't care what you got now. Don't care. I'll concede your point. It's a baby. Still don't care. Gargles didn't say to make that cake. There has to be consent. You can't force somebody to use their body for something like pregnancy. You know, it's like you can't force a dead person to donate their organs. A dead person has autonomy over their body. You can't force somebody to donate blood. You can't force somebody to be pregnant. It's just a thing. And a cake's not a cake yet. That's why it's still in the oven. I don't get the analogy at all. But if you want to see a baby, this is what a baby actually looks like, motherfucker. Not the fetus inside a womb. This is a baby. See, a baby has been born. And then sometimes you get a cute video of a pit bull cuddling with a baby. Oh, there's another kid over there. There's like a 2 or 3 year old, like a toddler or some shit, with her Frozen shirt on, next to the baby. But the pit bull got the right idea. The pit bull just cuddled up to the baby. Oh, now the toddler giving the baby some lovins. Oh, this is an adorable video. Now, shortly after this video, you saw it just cut off. Right after the video cut off, that pit bull ate both the baby and the toddler. Cleared the bones. They're bones where the children's were laying. Pit bull had a fantastic snack. I'm in some group about, memes about pit bulls eating babies, and I fucking love it. Those dangerous ass pit bulls always eating those babies. I mean, look at him. He's a big old boy. He's got room for like 3 children's. Not just the 2 that we're seeing. But no, look at it. Look how adorable. And I think I was told that they were originally bred to be nanny dogs, and that they are very nurturing. Pit bulls are sweet as fuck. I'm into the pit bulls. Not the rapper. The rapper pit bull haunts me. We'll go out to restaurants and pit bull will be playing, and it's like, why pit bull gotta haunt me? Also, programming note, I'm going to be going on some other people's channels, apparently. One of them is going to be this Friday. I'm going to go on a weed. I'm going to go on a weed channel. I think it was this Friday. Going on a weed channel at like 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna go on a weed channel, and I think it was a cool looking panel. So I'm looking forward to that. Weed indeed. So I'm looking forward to that one, and then I think no, the weed panel might be in August. The weed panel might be in August. This Friday might be. Somebody asked me to be on their channel at 3 o'clock. Got an email. Want me to be on their channel at 3 o'clock. I said, sure thing. I'll be on your channel Friday at 3 o'clock. But that's not the weed one. It's something. The weed one, I think I'll be simulcasting. I think it's a Sunday at 8:30. So maybe we'll come on early, we'll do some news, and then I'll do the weed stream. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm gonna send you over to Sparkle's new favorite streamer. It is Goat versus Fish. Fuck, he's one of my favorite streamers too. What a novel idea. Goat versus Fish is playing music. Sparkle's really into some Goat versus Fish. So if you're watching on Twitch, Goat versus Fish. Be sure to vote. I was Fish last night. I think I'll be Goat tonight. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin FREAKIN. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol Live.